I would say it's a Dama.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a Dama.
What?
What time is mine?
9:30. You
You
can stand this chair with us.
On board for Dama. Oh, Maine. Okay.
Somebody knocking on the doorstep.
If you want, you're welcome to join us. Rabbi Morozov gives an amazing class. Yes. And that's for speak. Well, okay.
We're doing the paper.
Mizena,
Shako, you want coffee?
Yeah.
You want to learn Torah? What do you want?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rabbi. Okay. Hashgacha brought us today, the Chumash today is all about the menorah. Amish Hashgacha Yona, Jason. Came just perfect timing.
Yeah.
The Chumash of today is all about the menorah. So even though we're I'm jumping a little to the end of the tshuva about the menorah. So basically, we said that there's two opinions in the Shulchan Aruch how you're supposed to light the menorah. Most people today light the menorah from left to right, the way the Machaber holds, the left to right. The light on the eighth night of Hanukkah, they light 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And
most people do it.
Yes, most people do. Huh? I haven't even seen anyone does it otherwise. But conceptually, we know that there is the shit of the Taz and the Lavush, that he says, no, you go from right to left. The Machloikis is when the Gemara says, Kolpina shatapoina liyapoina liyamin, what does it mean? You're pulling left to right or right to left? Tzemach Tzedek proves in the whole tshuva that what the Shulchan Aruch says can't be. Can't be. So the question is, why are we lighting the menorah like the Shulchan Aruch? It seems like the Tzemach Tzedek himself also lit the menorah the way we light the menorah. But me and you don't know better. The Shulchan Aruch says we followed the instruction book, me and you. But the Tzemach Tzedek himself, who seemed to understand that the Shulchan Aruch was wrong, so why was he lighting the menorah this way? Why is it Tzemach Tzedek lighting the menorah? How do I know that Tzemach Tzedek was lighting the menorah this way? So if he was lighting differently, we would hear about it. The Tzemach Tzedek had 7 sons. Each one of his sons ended up being a Rebbe of his own. Besides his oldest son, the Baruch Shalom, was very quiet, Nech Balakelim. He was one of 7 that didn't become a famous Rebbe who had thousands of Chassidim. And his great-great-grandson did become a Rebbe, Lubavitcher Rebbe. But he was the only son of the Tzemach Tzedek. He was a Goen, but he was very quiet. 7 sons were there. They all knew how to learn. Someone would say something. We would know if it was something. We would have known. So how could it be that the Tzemach Tzedek understood that the Shulchan Aruch was wrong and yet have done the same as the Shulchan Aruch? So before we read it inside, it really, I think that maybe because we're lighting it. Why are we celebrating Hanukkah? Because of the miracle that happened in the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash. How did they light the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash? So there is 2 opinions how the menorah stood in the Beis Hamikdash, and we learned about it last year. This was a notebook the Rebbe wrote to himself, and it was found on the Rebbe's desk after the Rebbe's Istalkus. The Rebbe wrote it. It's unbelievable when he wrote it. He wrote it because in the beginning it says where he wrote it. He wrote it 1939 in Paris.
Wow.
1939 in Paris. You know where? That means the Nazis already had marched in.
Yeah. Wrong.
And after he finished writing it in Lisbon, which is when he finally boarded a ship 2 years later, come to the United States, and he managed to get on the last boat going out of Europe.
Wow.
So it's hard to imagine how people are trying to save their lives, and the Rebbe was under Rahman al-Islam, under Nazi rule. It was south of France. It was a puppet government. The Vichy government was really the Nazi government. And I was sitting and writing a long, long booklet here called Rishimas HaMenoida. But one of the basic thing is that our sages have a dispute how the Menoida stood in the Beis Hamikdash. There is Maidav, right? The Kodesh HaKadoshim is where Peretz is. Peretz is sitting in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Okay.
He's the right one.
There is Mizrach, have Dorim, Tzafim. So, one opinion, so there's some machlokas atanoim how the Menoida stood in the Beis Hamikdash. Tzafim Dorim Vayamunach, this way, or Mizrach Maidav Vayamunach. Machlokas. Mizrach Maidav or Tzafim Dorim, this way or this way. Now, very good. Punkt in Zeit. Yeah.
Right.
Tonight, we're learning about the Menoida because today's Chumash is about the Menoida.
Oh, wow.
So, and we learned in the Gemara that there's a machloikis when you light from the Menoida in the Beis Hamikdash, did the Kohen Gadol light the kinza with a match, or it was from psila to psila. One opinion says that you're allowed to do bekinza. The other one says no, it's a bizu mitzvah. How could you, if you lit a candle and then you're going to take a match and light it? It's a bizoyan that a match that you use the match to take a light from a mitzvah. So according to the other one, it was from psila to psila. It was 1 week to the other week. That's how they lit the Menoida. Okay. And Ashi said every wick was lit by the wick next to it. Every wick. So, which was the first one to be lit? So, there's a Neir Maravi. We know that our sages say there was a Neir Maravi. There was a miracle 24/7 lit the Neir Maravi to show Eidus Laboy Elam Shashchina should be solved. David wanted to show that he's with the Jewish people. There was a miracle, not only the 8 days of Hanukkah. There was a miracle every day of the year that the Neir Maravi was always burning. Which is the Neir Maravi? Which is the Neir Maravi? So if you have a Menoida here, Maidav is there, Mizrach is here. So you might think the Neir Maravi is here. No, that's not the way Chazal see it. Chazal said, you look at the first branch, that's Mizrachi. The next one is already called Neir Maravi. The next one is already called Neir Maravi. This is called Mizrach, the first branch. The second branch is already called Neir Maravi. So according to Rashi, what happened? When he lit the Menoida, he would take the wick and he would light from 6 to 5. You take the light from 5 and go to 4. 4 to 3. 3 to 2. 2 to 1. Obviously, the Kohen Gadol is standing facing the wall. Why? Because we know the Gemara says, and we spoke about it last week, when he went to the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Gemara says he's walking from Mizrach to the Kodesh HaKadoshim. The Gemara says, where is he walking? The Gemara says, one thing I can tell you for sure. He was not walking b'tzad hador. Why? The Kamash Cherimone. Because over here, the Menoida is standing, and the soot is on the wall, and it's also for the Kohen of the Kohen Gadol. His beggar should have even the slightest dirt on it, and if he'll go this way, his hand will slide on the wall, and he'll get soot on his hand, and he's now wearing Pasal of the Gadol. So there's no way the Kohen Gadol is standing like this. There's only one way the Kohen Gadol could be standing, which is like this, towards the Menoida. The Neir Maravi is the candle here. So he's lighting from 6 to 5, 5 to 4, 4 to 3, 3 to 2, 2 to 1. So is he going from left to right or right to left? He's going left to right. He went from 6 to 5, 5 to 4. He's going this way. I'm sorry, I'm using my left hand.
The way he faced. The way he faced.
He's this way.
Yes.
So he was going like this. He's going from one to the next. So he's going from his left. That's what I'm saying. It couldn't be that the Kohen was standing like this, because it would be also the Chamash Cherimani. Just like it was also for the Kohen Gadol to walk by this wall. So there's no other way. The only way a Kohen came to light the Menoida was he walked in to the Kodesh like this, turned like this, walks up the 3 steps, and according to Rashi, starting from the 6th branch, maybe he right away did the 7th, but after that he's going from 6 to 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. So really, essentially, he's going from left to right. Here. We skipped a little to the end of Tshuva because today we're learning about the menorah and the Chumash. Oh, okay. So B'meila, so this is what we're gonna learn it soon inside, but I'm giving a little introduction. So I think this is not what the Tzemach Tzedek is going to try to say, but I'm saying Balabata Shazach, that maybe the reason why it's minhagis at all to light the menorah this way, because it seems that more shittas are Mizrach Ma'ariv V'Emunach. So if you say Mizrach Ma'ariv V'Emunach L'Poel, every day when the Kohen lit the menorah, he was going from left to right. That was a Metzias. Not because Kol Pina Shat Point and nothing to do with nothing. Just to do with the fact, the logistics, that the Ner Maravi is the second branch from Mizrach, and he's going from 6 to 5, 5 to 4, 3, 2, 1. So he was always lighting from left to right, most of it. He was lighting from left to right. So because we light the menorah because of a miracle that happened in the Beis Hamikdash, that's why we're doing it. I mean, obviously, that's not what the Shulchan Aruch says. The reason is Shulchan Aruch says because the Maril said that that's what the Maram did, and he said, why did the Maram do so? Because that's a pshat called Pina Shatapoina, and he says it's a machloikas of the Bnei Reinus and Bnei Ustreich was what's the pshat called Pina Shatapoina, but the Tzemach Tzedek holds it's impossible. And if anything, then the Bnei Ustreich was right, and the Bnei Reinus was wrong, if anything. But anyway, he holds biyad. There's no such a thing, so it's not true. So I was saying, we're lighting the menorah the way they lit it in the Beis Hamikdash.
Is the menorah staying this way or this way?
Oh, so I now want to say, last time it occurred to me. So the Chamachloikis. Some of the Tanoim said,
if you say like this, then you go left to right.
If you say this,
always left to right.
So then you can leka lamashma mine. If you say it was Tzaf and Dorim, it's Hadov Shok. I'll explain to you why. Because when I said originally, I started the shir, I realized it was whatever I said then is Gedrei Takop. Why? According to the shita that the menorah is Tzaf and Dorim, which is the Ner Maravi, they're all equal distance to the Kodesh HaKadoshim. 7 branches are equal distance, so which is the Ner Maravi? And the Gemara says you must say that the middle candle was Ner Maravi. Correct the Gemara, how's the middle candle Ner Maravi? No, because the 3 ricks to the right was like this, and the 3 to the left were like this, and the one in the middle was pointing towards the Kodesh HaKadoshim. That's why it's called Ner Maravi, because the wick is tilted towards the Kodesh HaKadoshim, which is B'maidiv, Shechina B'maidiv. So now, true, in the Rebbe, in the Yeshimas HaMenorah, he must have not seen the Tshuva Tzemach Tzedek when he wrote it. As I said before, that's why I mentioned. The Rebbe wrote it, he didn't have a single sefer in his hand when he had it, or maybe he had a few svarim. The Rebbe started writing it under the Nazis in Paris, then he was in Marseille, he was in Nice, and then he was in Nice for about a year. Finally, he was able to escape from there through Italy and Spain to Portugal, and from there he was able to get onto the last boat. In Nishgatkin svarim. When he went to Beis Medrash, picked us up with. Emes Taka, we have stories that the Rebbe was machazek. There were people that were lomdim and Gemnashir Gemnashir. Svarim zich nicht gedreht. You know, Yidden Nebach were those that were learning. Exactly. So Emes Taka were stories that Rebbe gave Ashir here and then this machazek, but the Nishgatkin is able to fine. Psat Tzemach Tzedek Samach Zayin. So the Rebbe says, unbelievable chap. Rebbe says that if you say Tzaf and Dorim, and the Shulchan Aruch has a machloikis, the Machaber and the Levush, he says depends. If you say that the Kohen walked in and he stood like this with his face to the Kodesh HaKadoshim, so then the Taz is right. Then because he would go from his Yamin. What would be? He'd go from Yamin to. But then he said, according to the Mechaber, you could say that he didn't, because the Yavit says that the steps were like this. He says, who told the Yavits that the steps were like this? That was a svara. Because the wick was sticking out like this, so if he would light like this, his sleeve will start burning. That's an interesting svara. So really, he walked and he stood like this. So therefore, so now. Kol Pinos, he started, it wasn't Eim Avidim ala mitzvahs. He started. So he started Mismoili Mamish the way we like the menorah. So
He walked to the menorah,
He walked-
around,
he walked around the Yavit. That's what the
around,
Yavit
and
did.
then go.
And he went up the steps.
And
And
now
he
he's
started,
facing,
and
now
he's
he's
now,
facing to the
yeah, with his
Kodesh,
back to the Kodesh Rikadosh.
So
He
now
started
left.
from his left side,
His left-
and that's the Pshat Kol Pina Shat Tapoina. Brilliant, the way the Rebbe said it. It's taka brilliant. But I realized that the Rebbe at that time didn't see the tshuva. So he was operating within the Shaila is called Pina Shat Tapoina, means you're pulling right to left, left to right. He said, I'll tell you how it is. The Shaila is, did he light like this? Or and then it was Emavid and Alamitzvahs. He started like this, or he went around. And again, it was Emavid and Alamitzvahs, and he started from his left. But that's all within the shit of Kolpina Shatapoina. But if you take out Kolpina Shatapoina, there's no doubt. The Tzim Tzedek says that if you avoid this yad, only by avoid this regel, there's Kolpina Shatapoina. Whenever you're moving your hand, there's no Pina Shatapoina. Now think about it. The candle is in the center, so I'm not sure if once you take out Kolpina Shatapoina, there's no way for us to know how the Kohen was lighting. Did he start here? Did he start here? Did he have the right to do whatever he wants?
If you start from the center, it makes more sense that you went to the right.
You could say, but if you take out Kolpinas, I don't have a raya to say. The Mishnah didn't tell me how it's going. So if you want to come with me with a klal, the Kolpinas applies it. But if you take out the klal of Kolpinas, avoid this yad, there's no Kolpinas. So Kenish bringing raya. I don't know how he did it. Remember, the Ner Maravi is now in the center. So did he go first like these three, and then as we'll see soon, there's endless possibilities because maybe he took out the wig, and there's endless. I can't bring a raya if you take away kolpina shatapoina. I don't have a mefedish mishnah. I don't know how it went. Mashenkin, if I say that the menorah was mizrach ma'ariv, and then I know for sure the kohen was standing like this. Because there's no way he's standing like this. So obviously the Kohen was standing like this. And he goes up, and according to Rashi, Ner Shishi is Ner Maravi, and he lights from Ner Shishi, the Chamishi. So it's clear how he lives.
No, but we say we start in the center.
No, it's only, the center is only if you say Tzafan, Doran, Hoyamunach, and the Ner Maravi is the center. But if you say that the menorah was Mizrach Ma'ariv Hoyamunach, the Ner Maravi is the second one. So then it's clear that he, according to Rashi, went, from 6 to 5, 5 to 4, 4 to 3. But if you say Ner Maravi is in the middle, so Lomaz not going to be Rashi. So I'm not sure. Did he go this way? Did he go this way? Either way, it's not going to help me Mikol Pinas because
You don't say it by hand.
no, he did it by hand. So we don't say Kol Pinas, right? We don't say Kol Pinas, but I'm not sure. Did he go this way? Did he go? But if it's here, the menorah is like this, and he started from the shishi. So let's say he did first shvi. Okay. But after that, what did he do? He went to 6 to 5, 5 to 4. There's no other way. Then according to Rashi, then it must have been that way. So then I know how it went to the Beis Hamikdash. So all I'm saying is if you're saying Tzaf and Dorim, you can't bring it out either way. There's no way to know. But if you say Mizrach Ma'ariv V'Emunach, I know how the Kohen Gadol, I'm saying Kohen Gadol, the Kohen. Yom Kippur was all about the Kohen Gadol, but usually regular day was.
That's every day.
Every day was a Kohen.
That was every day.
So the Kohen, if you say Mizrach Ma'ariv V'Emunach, the Kohen started with the 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There was no other way. Obviously, that's the way he did it. If you learn like Rashi. So I'm saying that's why we do it in our menorah, the poil. We're doing it like the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash. If you say Mizrach Ma'ariv V'Emunach.
There were 7 branches, right?
Or 7. So I'm not sure what happened with the first. He went from 6. Could be he did 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then he did 7. Or that's not. He's not being maiver really. It's hard to say.
But you stop on the center. So
Is it considered maiver by? I don't know. I don't know what, because it's Tzaddik is not going to go into it, and it's hard to say. Maybe he had a choice.
It's not called.
Not everything in it, just like the Gemara when said like Rabbi Akiva. Have it hochi. Tu azoi, tu vidavils. The Gemara says no. Rabbi Akiva couldn't do. I'm going back to the Mizbeach Hazol. It couldn't be because whatever. Because emavidim. But there are avoiders in the Beis Hamikdash where they said, you know what? The Vils ton azoi, the Vils ton azoi.
There's 2 Kohanim to say how they.
Exactly. Agam, Over there, Take, there was a machlokes. Every Kohen Gadol Getaina, the way I did was right, and what you did was mamish posel. It's not that the two Kohenim Gedolim said
He was walking next.
that you know what? In the first base of Mikdash, they were very liberal. Machazoi, tiva de vils. Do whatever you want. No, every Kohen Gadol said I did the right way, and you did the wrong way. Okay. Page 148. Vav. L'chayri yesh lahakshas al makash savnu mahod yisa bepedeg b'mem adliki daf of Beis and Beis. It's the last page, page 148. Do you have a 148 or you have? Oh, no. Here, we'll look together. Actually, I have it right in here. I have the. I don't need the cap.
You have the roots on it.
I have the rich one. As if you do. יש לאקשס על משקס אבנה בודיס פרק מדליקין linen lokas of another manera shishi tagim and a papa psilus aruchas. The papa said they were long psilus. Peter Shirashi call up psilus yoitzes chutz merisayim ad shemagias zoy lozoy umadlik memena smuchel av ashor zoy mezoy. That can l'shoin ash. Pisa timtza the hoylach umadlik mismail yamin. He's constantly going from smail yamin. That haneris monachim mizrich maidev. The candles are going mizrich maidev. The Heine Schleusche konnen b'mizrach, the Schleusche b'maidim. The Heine Shaninu so pede gimel de Tomid, Evan, Hoysa lifnei ha-menoire bo sholosh mailos, Shala ha-koin oime de meite v'saneidis, imken shoymed ala Evan, upon of noichech ha-menoire. Obviously, that his face is noichech ha-menoire, and it couldn't have been that it was there, and his face is to the wall, he means to say. And it must have been that way, as I explained before. Adei nera shishi, who besmoile v'sharach mishneides hemli minoi neged neirashishi vim ken shemadlik v'neirashishi as a chamishi seravi hakol hoylach mesmoile yamin v'zeh mamish kedas meram Rottenberg bad lokas neides the Chanukah v'arei l'divrei toisves yishonim di human nikre zeh poinal l'smoil l'chayre this is considered poinal l'smoil
like we do,
and that's what we do. So, miu yesh lataritz become a time. Someone said this, we can answer many ways. Aleph, mishum dehosam efshe, binyanach, macha di efshe, ki im ladlik mener lanei, im kein efshe klal binyanach. There's a klal godel b'shas, ein don an efshe me efshe. Over here was efshe. To do a kins, to use a match or a twig was awesome. All that you can only do from psila to psila. So, what are you supposed to do? There's a clown shot, ain't done him efshem efshem. The coin had no choice. It was neshishi, and from there has to go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As long as you do call penis shot the point, there's no other way. You know, you can't dance against gravity. You can't go the other way. So that's the way you go, Gandik. So there's no choice. How could you learn from here? Ain't done him efshem efshem. That's number one. Again, and then another thing. Second answer, Vesu ma'achad be'emes medina yikir shemake b'yod lo yelfin yad miregel. We said when you're doing avodas yad, there's no such thing called penis. You could do right to left, left to right. You do whatever you want. There's a preference to the right, but there's no called penis. Im kein av the hosa muchrich kein lahadlik mener laner ein shum chash. Kein af lepid shirash sham datam mishum deim navirim ala mitzvahs. Even if you're going to think about the concept of Ema Virin ala mitzvah, variyesh lama the tam kol pinas shakol gamkin kazeh. We said that there is a svar the kol pinas is much stronger than Ema Virin ala mitzvah, but there's also the shaylas which is miu given the be'emes medina l'shayach kol kach dina the kol pinas. Over here, kol pinas doesn't really apply. Elamai, there's a preference to the right over the left. Im kein vaday Ema Virin ala mitzvahs, because here we said there's no such thing as called pina shat point. There's no such thing. Forget about it. Avodas yad. Elamai. We said there's a preference. If you could go from the right to the left. Lidich. There's a mile of ema vidin ala mitzvahs, and you started, and you're at 6. So go. Why are you going to jump to 1? Go from 6 to 5. We said before in the beginning of the tshuva that ain't called penis is very strong. Everything gets pushed away. But once you take out called penis, go the ema vidin ala mitzvahs is more important than the preference of Yamin. Okay, weiter. The third thing, the maskoni yeshloim the lokaim lankein the psilas arukas da fila bekain seshori. the maskana of the Gemara is who says you need psilas arukas. And the maskana of the Gemara is bekinsa. Ein toisus of the mask mavalo. Geen das. Sefer atrum sma v'gos monas v'rayvet sefer hilchis chaneke. V'ayim a Gemara perigimul de yuma. Linyan atovas neire kiven de lahaschel lebahu ovid rube v'navet chita makro. Mashma k'tzaz the maskal mimin the hainu mit chilas haneire shel tzad amayre v'meitav ha'ilach che meitav chamish neire the mafsik l'kach part of the nevegem shishi. So he's saying the emphasis that there was a lot of Rishonim that said the maskana you could do bekinsa. So if he did a bekinsa, it's at least by that Tovas Nadis, it's mashma a little bit in the Gemara that they started taka from the right side and they did 1, 2, 3. So if you said it was bekinsa, we can understand why it was that way bekinsa. Again, the Gemara is talking about a tova, but the Rambam holds like hatavos and adlakosim. V'hine afshar Rambam v'Ramban oisri mekinsa efshar gam l'devrein and muchrik lahadlik mesmoili min. Sheyesh. So the Rambam and the Rambam paskin that it's also bekinsa, that you have to do it from week to week. Still, yesh lama psila de nerishna aruche kol kach at shemagas neir shishim adl koyz atchila. Efshar loima shemoishchu min haner umadlike v'choyz machzira. Two possibilities, says it's a tzedek. I'm not stuck. You telling me I'm stuck? I'm not stuck. Again, we're saying because he has to go from 6 to 5. No, maybe he pulled out the wick from 6, pulled it with his hand, and went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put it back in. And maybe the wick was so long and he was able to go all the way.
Wow.
How do you know? But the truth is that's only within the Rambam and the Ramban. But Rashi Befedish said that kol psilus yotzes chutz l'nei say matcha magia zu lazu u'memadlik u'men asmuchala. He's not saying it in Rashi. He's saying that. How do you know? So he's like narrowing the thing. He's number one, maybe it's mutter to do bekinsa. Most of the Rishonim held that mutter to do bekinsa. Two Rishonim said it was also Shu Shulchan Taka. We learned the Siman Tov Rishayin Dalet Shulchan Paskins that it's also bekinsa. We're machmet Taka l'halocha Shulchan. That's getting closer to my answer. So it's okay, fine. So you have to do wick to wick. I'll give you another two possibilities. Maybe they took out the wick from the 6 and went straight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what's the problem? The problem is that, but Rashi didn't say it that way. So if you put 2 and 2 together, you say Rashi, and you say the halacha is you're not allowed to do bekinsa. So it must have been that they did from 6 to 5 to 4 to 3 to 1. Elamai, now is left one answer. Tzemach Tzedek says, I ain't done an efshem e efshem. Damn. There's no other way to do it. And anyway, there's no kol pina shata poinakan. Okay, so I'm gonna say, okay, fine. You can't learn a rule from here, l'chol ha'torah kula. We lied. Maybe that's the reason why we lied it. So I'm not saying that much, but I just think that from the Tzemach Tzedek, from the kasha, you could give an answer. Like I said, if the Tzemach Tzedek would have done it any differently, we would have heard. Tzemach Tzedek had 7 sons. They were mamas geshain ve'amanoira. Every one of them were geonim atzimum. Every one of them later wrote Sforim. Every one of them, besides the Rebbe's Eltazeh, the oldest son, every one of them became later an admoir. Every one of them had alfei chasidim. Every one of them, alfei chasidim. Everyone were very big Rebbes. The fact that nothing was left was a lot of between
politics.
No, it wasn't politics. There was mostly not. They were in different places.
Around Russia.
Elamai, the Bolsheviks came, and then then a lot of them didn't have Einiklach that took over or whatever. But they had Alfei Chasidim. I actually, it was last year. Davis, one of the books I bought. A chapter on each one of the sons of the Tzemach Tzedek. Mamish half of a fellow. Each one of them had Alfei Chasidim. So a lot of them also, the Chassidim, when the pogroms in the 1880s moved to America. So today it's Bli Guzma. There is shuls and all over America. Anshe Babrois, Tzemach Tzedek shul, the old Reform, conservative. Tzemach Tzedek shul. Yeah, Anshe Babroisk. Anshe Babroisk. This is the one of the third son was the Rebbe Babroisk, Bisrael Noyach. So that's what happened a lot, or whatever. But the emissaries, each one of them were going to matzumim. We would have heard if the Tzemach Tzedek lit shaloi k'hadas hashulchan aruch. Elamai, in Indian, the Tzemach Tzedek said if it's wrong, avoid this. So bottom line is, whenever it's avoid this yad, there's no called pina shat the poina. Elamai, there's a preference. Oh, preference is to the yamin over the smile.
And the
It's-
right in a Yom put the menorah in the door. It doesn't right make a difference from right to left.
No, he says and the minig is not to be medayik if it's Tzafan Doran or Mizrach Maya.
Oh.
That could be, so there's 100 ways of learning. There's 2 ways of learning it. One way is, Nishnagay, the way it was in the Beis Hamikdash. Or the other way is, Nishnagay of the Tust, you always Sutref and say Shita. If you put your menorah Tzafan Doran, great, one Shita. You did Mizrach Maya, another Shita. So we're not getting involved. We're not going to tell you the minig has to be dafka like this or dafka like this. Nevedachi, nevedachi. You want to do it like this. You want to learn it because in the Beis Hamikdash, kabachloik is a tanoim. Kitzur, my Gemara Perek Beis the Shabbos, mashma ben arba'im ad lekachom shneires kederach sheposek maram v'shulchan aruch gabe neires chanukah. Taka mashma that way. Yishlam l'shan osam diyev shebinyanaka kem yishlam elefim matzkonis ein tzorich loze. Because avoid this yard, so it's not because Yevsha, whatever, it made no difference. Vegam Tovis and it is fakir, Mashma, the Maschil, when there are Yosimoni, Boilach, made to the middle smell, Kadesh, Kosa, the Vush Vatask, Nedis Amanoi, Nedis Hanukkah. Achazman, Nitfas Chuvas, Sam Soif, Chelik Orechaim, Simon Kuf Pezayan, he has a long chuva about this. Peter Shemasha Kosa, Velo Yolov Yad Meregel, Haina de Yad, Imoisa, Kirabakiva, Kosher poinally mean. Woman the Olaf Yolov Yad Mereg Linished Alpha Gav Shabiyad Kagavna Choice King. Kumashimaka Beregel, Kosher poinally smile. Because at Sarah classes came a Shuman Delphin Yad Mereg. Behold the water available in the Chilas Kvoite Rosa NMS Club. So what did the Chsam Sefer say? The Chsam Sefer said, it's funny, it's like, counterclockwise of the way we were taught in yeshivas to think. It's a funny mahalach. He said like this: what does it mean, Yalfina Yad Meregel? It means that really, whatever is called Kolpinas Biyamin for Regel, the Yad is the opposite. Whatever you tell me the Regel, the Yad is the opposite. If you say Yalfina Yad Meregel means that even though really it means the opposite, the Torah says don't do what really makes sense, do what doesn't make sense. And now that we say Lo Yalfina Yad Meregel, so Regel Pina Yamin means one way, and Yad is the other way. So Tzemach Tzedek doesn't like that. It's very funny. The Gam Loshen, Yalfina Rag Meler, the Lo Yalfina Yad Meregel.
When you go up the 3 steps, it make a difference if you start with the right foot to the left.
Yeah, you should always use your right foot first. But that's a different thing called penis. I'll tell you why. Like called penis, the Metzad Din of called penis, it doesn't make a difference if you're a righty or a lefty, because it has to do with the Yamin Smail the Alma. Ashenkein Metzad putting on a right shoe or a left shoe, there is a difference if you're a righty or a lefty. So there could be a difference, at least when you tie your shoe, because that's Metzad Kshira, has to do with and that has to do with the tefillin. So whatever you do for your tefillin, you do for your shoelace. There could be a difference. The Gamma Ocean Yalfina Yad Meregel Lo Yalfinan. Lo Yalfinan Yad Meregel Hanik Mo Yalfinan Pnim Echutz Lo Yalfinan. The Peter Shu Befnim Gamken Tzarech Lis Kolpina Chatapoin Lo Yal Derech Yamin or Lo Fachal Derech Zeh Peter Shu Yalfina Yad Meregel Shabiyad Gamken Tzarech Lis Ben Derech Yamin Shabiyad Ein Tzarech Laza V'Lo Yikomo Peter Shu Zal. Not the way the Chsam Sefer says. I won't explain what he's saying. It says something very simple. One of the answers the Gemara said that the question is, everyone agrees, Kol Pinish at the point is Limin. Why? Because as we say in the morning, all the Bakevish, Panala Sova, Vakolo, Vagan, and Rems, Mizrach, everyone, no one's going to disagree that Mizbeach Chitz and Kol Pinish at the point has to be Limin. Shaila is Yalfin Pnimichutz, Lo Yalfin Pnimichutz. Whatever happened in the inside, in the Kodesh, if also that has to be Kamosha B'chutz. Are we going to say, what is Pshat Yalfin on the Pnim Chutz? Really, the Pnim, everything should be the opposite of Chutz. If Yalfin and Pnim, Do we say that just like in the chutz, there's a rule called pina shatapoin, and the same thing at the pnim? We're not spinning, we're not orbiting in three ways in the same time. We're just saying, do we learn that whatever happens in the chutz applies also in the pnim or not? So same thing over here. When we're saying, do we learn yad from regel? Some Sefer makes a whole thing. The really yad is the opposite of regel. But if we learn, we should do. It's not what it means. It means, do we learn yad from regel? Just like by regel, there's a rule called pina shatapoina. Do we say that also b'yad has the rule of kol pina, or we say that b'yad there's no rules, do whatever you want, and there's no din of kol pinas? That's what's bothering the Tzemach Tzedek. The veloikamosh pirush uzal the b'yad hakafel yiminu hepech me beregel im kidvora. If it was true, like some sefer, af im yalfina yad meregel shetzarich lias poina limin haloi biyad kshepoina mismoel limin b'chosher poina limin. And if takazoi, so what do you mean? So you should learn ag meregel, and each one should be kedislei. Below me the alfini yad meregel dafa b'shav yad choshev kagav na poina derech smoel im kol ze kiven the beregel choshev kagav na derech yimin. So the last gam biyad lafnes derech smoel. From the regel choshev kagav na poina derech yimin kol ze pilish in miskabo klal lo klal. The nicker shekosav zed b'mei churfoi. Kosve b'shnas tov kuf samach. V'yesh b'sifrei tshuvis b'shnas tov kuf tzadik ches. It's very funny. Saying, look, I saw a tshuvis in the Chassam Sofer. Some of this tshuva is written tov kuf samach.
For many the choref.
He was young. And then there's tshuvis about 40 years later. He never met the Chassam Sofer. He didn't read a biography. When the Chassam Sofer was born, when did he live, when did he pass away? He didn't see any biography of the Chassam Sofer. So he's just saying, look, there's tshuvas that are 40 years later. So he must have written this tshuva when he was young, and he's just trying to be sharp and let's say psalomdus. But Gamish Tamitze HaToises Yishon, he forgot to mention the whole Toises Yishon, which is a big yisoid. Shekos v'lehedya heipach kol dvara. So I see someone wrote a letter to the Shevet Sofer, said, please help Yozedi because it's Tzemach Tzedek is attacking him. So I printed out the Shevet Sofer. I don't have it here, but I didn't yet really chap what the Shevet Sofer is answering. But he tried to deal with it. Tzemach Tzedek has a strong tiny here.
How it's possible he was young and then later on he wrote the opposite?
No, he didn't write the opposite. He's saying that some Sefer wrote this
when he
was young.
Okay.
Something sharp, but it can't be.
But
It can't be
later.
No, he's saying, how do I know he wrote it when he was young? Because I see he wrote some tshuvas 40 years later. So he must have been young.
But the 40 years later, he said the hefech.
No, he didn't say lahefech.
What's
He didn't say. He said stam. He said, I know that he wrote tshuvas 40 years later. So when he wrote this tshuva, different tshuvas, not this tshuva.
V'afach kol dvarav.
No. Gam yishtamitze ha'toises yishonim. In the tshuva that he wrote, he missed out mentioning the toisvus. Shekos v'lahedya heipach kol dvara. The toisvus is the opposite of everything he wrote. Everything he writes in tshuva is against the toisvus yishonim. Yishonim is a fetish, not that way. So that's that. Funny thing is that after he wrote the tshuva, he wrote a note to himself. Not that he changed his mind. Forget. It's like a halten bazayin, said Tzemach Tzedek. He wrote another note. Someone in the last time when I gave a shir asked Taka good shaila, and I gave a teretz. So Taka, in this note, the Tzemach Tzedek says someone might ask a kasha against me. So I have a shvacha teretz, the teretz I gave. But really, I have a better teretz. And then he gave a bomba teretz, a very good teretz. But the time is now; it's already. We're not going to start this now at 9:30. I made a copy. Here, you can take it. You take it home. I mean, if we maybe it's Simon Kuf Yud Beis. Siyum Shut Oirachaim Simon Samach Zayin. So someone asked a good kasha, and the Tzemach Tzedek answers it with two tirutzim. But I just want to summarize. So what we said here is like tonight. The menorah is. Those that are learning Chitas learn today the Chumash about menorah. So it's Hashgacha Pratis. So basically, Tzemach Tzedek is saying that there is a Shita that the menorah was Mizrach Ma'ariv Hayamunach. So it depends. If you hold that you were allowed to do it with a kinsa, you're allowed to take a match. So then it sounds so that Tzemach Tzedek from the Gemara that he took the match, he took Ner Marovi, which is Ner Shishis, and he lit it, and then he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Mamish like the Taz and the Lavush. Get it? So, and if you say it was from the wick, he said, I can still tell you. He took the wick out, and he went, or it was a very long wick, and he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Okay, but for it, Rashi says that it was not that way. That they did psila to psila to psila. So he said, ain't done an efshe mi efshe. And you know what? Anyway, there was no the rule of kol pinas doesn't apply here because avodas yad, not avodas regel. So for this is what we said tonight. Bedoichek yeshloimar elapoil in our be'osin shulchan aruch we paskin bekinsitz also. I noticed something that when we go to the Tzina Kodesh of the Rebbe, they now put the candles outside. So there's like a lot of times there's a wind. They make these glass doors. There's a wind. And it's hard to catch a fire. So they have little boxes of matches. And myself included, I'm all civiltzach, to find a box and a match. So do you take from another candle? It's a big shaila if it's mutter. These candles are likely can have the kedusha. It's covered. We're lighting it l'kover the tzaddik. We're lighting it l'kover the tzaddik. It's
light never machzir.
It doesn't matter.
Fire never
but so that, and then the Beis Hamikdash. But what's the difference?
Million nails.
The Gemara says makrish misha. Rashi says nidike moshe makrish. Ner lechem ner lamei. All the poils nishken sabizoin to the mitzvah. Why are we lighting a candle? We're lighting a candle mishum kovid ravi. Kovid ravi can kovid shemayim. So I'm not sure, but so like tzachor bamir the muskul rishon that the candles that you light by the kvorim of tzaddikim has a din of neder shel mitzvah. Now, if it's true that it has a din of neder shel mitzvah, so and we paskin like the Shulchan Aruch that it bekinsitz also it's a bezoyim. Even they're doing it for another mitzvah. You're taking it from one candle to another for a mitzvah. But we paskin like the Shulchan Aruch, like the Rambam and the Ramban, bekinsitz also. You're only allowed to do from wick to wick. So if you want to take the other candle and light it like this, is mutter. It's mutter.
But to take a match and light it.
But to take a match. So that's bekinsa. We pass
better to start a match and do it.
It's still better to take a match and scratch it.
Not even take the match.
And not even to take it, right? Why not to take it?
Like we say in Hanukkah, if they can't.
Why not? I'll tell you why not to take it. Because the two exactly just like by Hanukkah has to be in order to take from mitzvah to mitzvah, both mitzvahs have to be equal. Look, so it's can sein that Take we're all kula mahuvim kula berur. We're lighting it l'zeich nishmas the tzaddik. But can sein yene yid the Take it's getom betchilu rechimu rechilu tchilu. And I'm kekoif b'fnei odel. So who says that it's the same level in mitzvah? Okay, so now I'm talking to the shergation. It's fine. Tadluit psila to psila is mut. But to the kinsa takazai, if you say that the neighbors that Bekivri Tzadikim is neighbor shel mitzvah, as I said, look, muskulishim, what is it? It's a neighbor shel rishus. I think it's neighbor shel mitzvah. So then you shouldn't use a kinsa. Anyway, back to what we're saying. Yos Shulchan Aruch paskins that you're not allowed to use a kinsa. It's only from week to week. And the Poyer Rashi Moedim Shel Yisrael said that it was lit one to the next. So the Tzemach Tzedek says ain't done an efshem efshem, and there's no kolpina. Well, the Poyer, that's the way they did it in the Beis Hamikdash. So we are doing it that way not because of kolpina shata poina. We're doing it that way because that's the way they did it in the Beis Hamikdash. And Ken Zayin that Tzemach Tzedek Alain, even though he held that the Shulchan Aruch was wrong, Poel, he did it this way because Poel, that's the way, according to Rashi, it was done on the Beis Hamikdash.
When they start with the matches, they didn't have lighting with the stone.
You know what? I want to tell you something. I was reading an article, Mamish recently.
Was they had a fire all the time?
No, but if they didn't have, they'd never used matches. They didn't have matches.
What's a kimcha?
Listen. listen, there was a Ner Tomid on Mizbeach HaChitz. If the Jews were worthy, there was the Ner Maravi was
Never
always
kabah.
burning
It
24/7.
says never kabah.
Was never caught. But we learned in
Wind,
the Toysvis
fire, rain,
that
doesn't matter.
that it was totally if the Eden was Zoicha, not Zoicha. And the word generations when they were not Zoicha,
Kabah.
and the Ner Maravi was covered. The Ner Mizbeach Chitzon was never covered. The Eden made sure, but the Nes of the Ner Maravi was not always. It was not always. It was not always that Ner in the Nes Ner Maravi. So they went back to the Mizbeach Chitzon to get fire. Well, so I was reading an article the other day. It's not a funny thing. This guy was giving a course about how to survive in the wild, in the wilderness. Your own. So,
How to start fire?
One of the things is a fire,
Right.
He said the thing that 90 at the end he gives you a test. He gives you a test, to see if they can the malachim. 95% of people fail on one thing, on how to guard a fire, and how to we're so used to we take a match, you open up, click, click, click with a pilot, but the mole fire they knew it was a whole malacha. How you get the fire started, and then a twig, and from a twig to a branch. It was they knew the malacha. But today, we our grandparents used to call us the Americana chocoladnikas. So the Americana chocoladnikas, we don't know so much how to. But anyway,
We know that the milk comes from the supermarket.
Exactly. But most with Eden was Zoicha, then there was always the fire was always there on the because Eidus Shechina Shayda B'Yisrael that was a nest.
But Ptili are the head, according to what's
How do they clean it up? Every morning.
What do you mean? They cleaned. They never did the. So it's very complicated how they did the Ner. How they did Ner Marav. Yeah, that we spoke. He lit the other ones, and then he did Ner Marav, and then did Ner Marav from the other ones. Okay, very good. Maybe shall helfen. That exactly. We'll be already into it. We're gonna know. Oh, Dorm Tzafim was we'll be ready.
Actually, we could never see them in a.
There's first of all there's chalonis shkufim atumim take, but still there's chalonis,
You can't.
and maybe there'll be a video. Mistama there'll be video footage. But
allowed.
But losen the Yidden zijn, the Yidden will wel zijn. Maybe shall helfen. So gleich zeichen sind zu senden Menor in the Beis Hamikdash.
Amen.
Amen.
When the Rebbe light is Menor in his house, people know how he.
If it was different than the Shulchan Aruch, we would hear about it.
Want to be a husband?
Yeah, was nicht.